Welcome Legion. Today I want to talk to you guys about how to integrate your strength training into your rehabilitation program. So injuries are obviously going to be part and parcel of playing sport, and they're really unfortunate that they occur, and strength training is going to be a part of that rehabilitation program. So it's important that you seek out some help from a physiotherapist and maybe even in conjunction with a strength and conditioning coach. These two professions work really great simultaneously. The physio is going to be really good for that specific rehabilitation of the injured area, and the strength coach can help with the programming and the specific strength exercises of that injury. Also, the other good part about the strength and conditioning coach is that they'll keep everything else going, which is a really big part of your rehabilitation program, not just the injured area, but the rest of the body as well. So as a team, you're going to sit down and you're going to create a plan together, and you're going to set some goals for your rehabilitation. Now, the way we kind of view rehabilitation here is we often refer to it as reconditioning. So we're trying to build you back up. We're trying to recondition you to that kind of optimal performance that you want to work at, and potentially even be greater than when you've actually got injured. Ideally, if we can improve upon what you were doing before, your chances of getting injured again are going to be much less likely. We also view our reconditioning / rehab as a continuum. So if there's kind of rehab on this end and performance on this end, realistically we're just scaling back the performance exercises to exercises that you can do pain-free and comfortably early on. So the early phases of rehab, your specific exercises should be developed by your physical therapist, and they should be promoting healing, tissue healing and recovery, while also getting a little bit of stimulation to the area. If you have to avoid it completely for the first few weeks, then so be it. But while we're doing this, we also need to add in some modified training for the rest of the body. So if you've got a lower leg injury, say you've hurt your knee and you can't squat, okay, maybe you might not be able to use that leg, but maybe you can use the other leg, and we can use things like ring-assisted squats or single leg squats or single leg press. We can use other exercises to keep the other side strong, which is very important, especially for our rehabilitation process, because it can actually reduce the deconditioning effect of the affected limb. So if I'm actually using my non-affected leg, so my uninjured leg, some of that neural input, some of that training can actually carry over to the other side and keep that from withering away. So that's actually really important to keep that going. And obviously you've got the rest of your body. You've got your core and you've got your upper body. So you can be working on other things. You just might need to modify a few things. Like I said, you got that lower limb injury. You might not be able to do much standing upper body work, but you can do a lot of seated stuff. So bench press is probably still a bit of a go. Some more seated variations, seated curls, all this kind of stuff. You can do other things. That's an important part of the rehab because it keeps you mentally fresh and focused as well. The other part of this process, especially as you're moving on, you should have targets for your strength levels. So depending on what you've injured, you should have strength targets that you need to meet to be able to progress to the next level. So for example, maybe post-knee injury, your quads and hamstrings should be tested in isolation to see how they're progressing, and they should be compared against the other leg as well. And really, a lot of this data we would use to determine whether you are ready to progress to the next level. We're looking for a certain ratio of quad and hamstring strength compared to the non-affected side before you can start running. This is to reduce the amount of imbalances, because if we have an imbalance and we start progressing some of the more complex movements, including something like jogging, then we can actually be creating more damage, more harm than we are good. So it's important to have those targets in mind and work towards those targets. And as you achieve them, progress and work towards the next one. It's important to define, during this time, to define your weaknesses. So where are you not strong? Because this is likely the cause to maybe why you got injured in the first place. Definitely not always, because there's many factors that can happen, but it can be a really good insight. It can be a really good insight to what you need to do in the future to potentially prevent this from happening again. The other thing is to continue your strength work on the whole body, including the injured area, long after you've injured yourself. This is a really, really important component that can get forgotten about. Sometimes people can be like, oh, yep, no, I'm not injured anymore, sweet, I don't have to do this anymore, I'm done. Unfortunately, rehab never really finishes, because rehab turns into performance. Hence why I said rehab and performance is a continuum. It's a forever ending, extending line. And as your performance increases, as your performance increases, so does the need to stay on top of your strength work to reduce the effect or reduce the risk of you getting injured again like you were before. It can still happen, unfortunately, and if it does, it doesn't matter, because you've done it before, you've been there, you can mentally overcome these things. Thanks for that, guys. Hopefully that helped. Cheers.